Contents. Part 1. Manufacturing Processes. 1. 3D printed MWF nozzles for improved energy efficiency and performance during grinding. Robert Zamich and Karsten Heinzel. 2. Model-based correlation analysis of machine control parameters and process vibration amplitudes by the example of milling. Xu Zhu, Max Reitenspiefe, Kai Zhang, and Nico Hannenkamp. 3. A comparative sustainability assessment of cutting fluids usage in band sawing. Nithan Rangasamy, Roan Kerwin, and C.S. Rickerty. 4. Design and characterization of piezoceramic thick film sensor for measuring cutting forces in turning processes. M. Panesso, M. Etrichratz, S. Gebhardt, O. Georgi, C. Ruger, M. Nock, and W. G. Drossel. 5. The costs of more sustainable castings. Can we afford the change? Lucas Pelchin and Sebastian Muller. Part 2. Supply chain and remanufacturing. 6. Reprod resource autarkic production based on secondary semi-finished products. Marcus Werner, Rico Haas, and Christian Hermling. 7. Reducing remanufacturing uncertainties with the digital product passport. Viola Galina, Barna Gal, Adam Zaller, Daniel Bachlechner, Elizabeth Illy Zudor, and Wilfred Sin. 8. Digital supply chain twins for sustainable planning of a logistics system. Simon Zarnitz, Frank Straub, and Benjamin Nitsch. 9. Optimization of a remanufacturing production planning system with the help of artificial intelligence. Barna Gal, Viola Galina, Adam Zaller, and Sebastian Schlund. 10. Circular supply chain management in the wind energy industry, a systematic literature review. Catherine Julia Kramer and Matthias Schmidt. 11. Analysis of elementary technology considering the remanufacturing of used machinery, a case study. Yongsung Jun and Youngchul Yu. 12. Measurement of disassembly work using optical motion capture. Ryoto Kawane, Hiramasa Ijuan, Ryosuke Nakajima, Masao Tsuji, Shuho Yamada, and Tetsuo Yamada. 13. Simulation-based analysis of reverse supply chains in circular product service systems. Julian Gross Erdmann, Jan Koller, Saman Amir, Ailes Mihalic, and Frank Dopper. 14. Concept of sustainable supply chain management using multi-agent system. Negotiation by linear physical programming. Jundai Koketsu, Aya Ishigaki, Hiramasa Ijuan, and Tetsuo Yamada. 15. Designing a reverse supply chain network for smartphones with material-based GHG emissions and costs using linear physical programming. Hiramasa Ijuan, Takaki Nagao, Masakuni Tsunazawa, Kohei Sugiyama, Kazuyuki Tasaka, and Tetsuo Yamada. Part 3. Machine Tools. 16. Influence of additivation of bio-based lubricants on sprayability and solubility for cryogenic minimum quantity lubrication. Trixie Meyer, Michael Lermer, Daniel Gross, and Nico Hannenkamp. 17. Potential of radar-based measuring systems in hot forging. M. Bergman, M. Dix, T. Walbaum, and R. Selbman. 18. Evaluation of thermal error compensation strategies regarding their influence on accuracy and energy efficiency of machine tools. Christian Naumann, Axel Fickert, Lars Penter, Carola Giffeke, Eric Wenkler, Janine Glanzel, Philip Clement, and Martin Dix. 19. Investigation of cutting force and surface quality in frozen wood sawing under varying influencing factors to improve the energy and resource efficiency of sawing processes. F. Schreiner, J. Schmidt, B. Thorens, M. Voigt, and F. Dopper. 20. Revel PET. An innovative back-to-monomer recycling technology for the open-loop value chain of PET and polyester composite packaging and textiles. Renan Loro Cardozo Franco, Karsten Eichert, Charlotte Lucking, Lars Biermann, Mandy Paskitag, and Stefan Scholl. 21. Development of a pneumatic clamping system with position and force control machining. U. Ben Hanen, U. Eckert, M. Mendy, A. Weiss, R. Wertheim, and U. Azaria. 22. Initial period of chip formation. Observations towards enhancing machining sustainability. Y. Alamari, J. Selzer, S. Berger, I. Ivkov, and D. Bierman. 23. Influence of carbon dioxide temperature on sprayability and solubility in cryogenic minimum quantity lubrication with bio-based lubricants. Trixie Meyer, Michael Lermer, Daniel Gross, and Nico Hannenkamp. 24. Sustainability enhancement of the coal-based direct reduction of iron premised on a rotary kiln. Radidzo Ivan Niakudia and Michael Iomo. 25. The influence of the rake angle on the cutting of low lead and lead-free brass alloys. Magdalena S. Muller and Knut S. 0RBY. Part 4. Materials. 26. Towards making polymer food packaging suitable for the circular economy. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Elliot Woolley, Mala Shawn, Samson Nahar, Nikki Clark, Fiona L. Haddon, Ryan Larder, Rhoda Trimmingham, and Gareth T. Wilson. 27. CO2 footprint of machine elements made of fiber-reinforced polymer concrete compared to steel components. Kim Torben Werkel, Michelle Engert, and Hans Christian Moring. 28. Evaluation of material properties of spruce wood samples to improve the development process for more sustainable sawing processes. J. Schmidt, F. Schreiner, B. Thorens, and F. Dopper. 29. Liquid desiccant dehumidification systems, jet cross-talking effect in multi-electrosprays. Winnie Mutinhabundo, Tawanda Mushiri, Timothy Gutu, and Patson Zavandasara. 30. High strength and electrical conductivity of AlCNTs plus GAGNPs nanocomposites. Victor Sunday Agbadian. 31. Material recycling of end-of-life tires. The influence of recyclates on the processing of rubber compounds. Stefan Hoyer and Lothar Kroll. Part 5. Additive manufacturing. 32. Potential analysis for the use of bio-based plastics with natural fiber reinforcement in additive manufacturing. Andreas Friedel and Stefan Junk. 33. Development of magnetic sheets for CO2-efficient electric drives using an additive manufacturing approach. Alexander Schmidt, Marco Ziegler, Georg Frank, and Alexander Kull. 34. Towards a comparative index assessing mechanical performance, material consumption and energy requirements for additive manufactured parts. Leopoldo de Bernardes, Giampaolo Campana, Mattia Mili, and Sebastian Murr. 35. A framework to compute carbon emissions generated from additive manufacturing processes. Vasiliki C. Panagiatopoulou, Ikaterini Paraskevopoulos, and Panagiotis Stavropoulos. 36. Competencies to address the industrial additive manufacturing towards sustainable production. Gustavo Mello, Alexander Kais, Stephanie Palick, and Johannes Henrik Schleifenbaum. 37. Modeling carbon border tax for material-based GHG emission and costs in global supply chain network. Takaki Nagao, Hiramasa Ijuan, Keisuke Nagasawa, and Tetsuo Yamada. Part 6. Production systems. 38. Integrating lean management principles into human-robot collaboration in disassembly cell. Samira Kivanpour. 39. A mathematical model considering multi-skilled operators and industrial robots on reconfigurable manufacturing cells. Takayuki Kataoka. 40. 5S implementation to minimize waste in bread production process. Case study, Madani Bakery. Nilda Tri Putri, Dicky Fatrias, and Santa Rosa Roberta Cimbalon. 41. Environmental assessment and optimization when machining with micro-textured cutting tools. Amr Salem, Hassan Hegab, and Hassam Akishawi. Part 7. Planning, Scheduling and Control. 42. Waste minimization by inventory management in high-volume, high-complexity manufacturing organizations. Muhammad Afi Sharara, Sandeep Jagtap, Emanuele Pagoni, and Konstantinos Salonitis. 43. Cascaded scheduling for highly autonomous production cells with AGVs. Eddie Miller, Tobias Kopp, and Jan Schmidt. 44. A model to balance production workload distribution in a trailer manufacturing organization under fluctuating customer ordering condition. Gerhard van der Walt, Olasumbo Makinde, and Kumbulani Mpofu. 45. Enabling sustainable consumption. Development of an inventory management tool for food recovery. Chelsea Dean, Fazlina Badruddin, and Kendra U. Norasic. 46. Resource-efficient process chains for the production of high-performance powertrain components in the automotive industry. Berend Denkena, Benjamin Bergman, Marcel Wichmann, Miriam Handrup, Daniel Katch, Philip Pilkan, Leon Reuter, Christopher Schmidt, and Frederick Steljes. 47. Optimizing product lifecycle systems for manufacturing in a circular economy. Boudica M. Hapuwat, Nahika Mothar, Noah Last, Vincenzo Ferrero, Maya Reslin, and K.C. Morris. Part 8. Energy Efficiency. 48. Development of a holistic framework for identifying energy efficiency potentials of production machines. Boris Ioshikas, Daniel Piendl, Henrik Schmitz, Jasper Hyland, and Matthias Weigold. 49. Simulation-based efficiency comparison of different mains configurations for DC grid branches for supplying production plants based on a rule-compliant design. Benjamin Gutwald, Freddie Nankam Ngiameni, Martin Barth, and Georg Frank. 50. Increasing energy efficiency and flexibility by forecasting production energy demand based on machine learning. André Trenz, Christoph Hoffmann, Christopher Lang, and Richard Oxner. 51. The use of Gentani approach for benchmarking resource efficiency in manufacturing industries. Shoaib Sarfraz, Mark Jolly, and Konstantinos Salonitis. 52. Increase efficiency of energy transmission by incentives. Benjamin Jacobson. 53. User-centric energy efficiency optimization for machining. Thor Gericke, Volkmar Thompson, Nick Schwichtenberg, and Alexander Matz. 54. Method for evaluating and identifying energy-efficient process chains for the manufacturing of press hardening tools based on the Deming Circle. Anya Raudenstrauch, Larissa Markov, and Verena Krausel. 55. Approach for design of low-carbon footprint paint shops in the automotive industry. Jonas Wendt, Astrid Weyand, Boris Barmbold, and Matthias Weigold. 56. A practical approach to realize a closed-loop energy demand optimization of milling machine tools in series production. Alper and Kahn, Hendrik Schultz, Ali El Rahal, Gregor Tila, and Georg Kruger. 57. Load profile optimization using electricity wholesale market price data for discrete manufacturing. Clemens Schwager, Thomas Trautner, and Friedrich Bleicher. Part 9. Industry 4.0 and Digitalization. 58. Conceptual framework of a digital twin fostering sustainable manufacturing in a brownfield approach of small volume production for SMS. Sandra Kroms and Florian Tomaszko. 59. Pharma 4.0. Revealing drivers of the digital transformation in the pharma sector. Michelle Grace Tedda, Sandeep Jagtap, and Konstantinos Salonitis. 60. A case study on evaluation of defect characteristics for practical application of appearance inspection work support system utilizing deep learning. Yuta Nakakura, Kosuke Temizu, Mana Nishino, and Ryosuke Nakajima. 61. Framework for the development and implementation of sustainable information systems for the digitalization of small businesses in South Africa. Ryan Parker and Stephen Matope. 62. Sustainable solutions by the use of immersive technologies for repurposing buildings. Maximilian Rasilius, Marcus Wilhelm, Ingo von Eitzen, Stefan Decker, Sebastian Damick, and Volker Brautigam. 63. Development of a potential analysis for the introduction of sustainable digitization solutions. Tanya Steinbach, Franziska Parthy, Marcus Weidman, and Rainer Anderl. 64. Industrial Digital Twin in Industry 4.0, enabling service exchange between assets in manufacturing systems. Tim van ERP, Frederick Bredel Peterson, Niels Peter Lam Larsen, and Rasmus BWK Lund. 65. Digital Twins for Sustainability in the Context of Biological Transformation. Anne Segrun, Janine Mugg, Teresa Riedelsheimer, and Kai Lindo. 66. Virtual Experiments for a Sustainable Battery Cell Production. Jonathan Kraufe, Thomas Ackerman, Alexander D. Keiss, David Roth, and Miriam Mitterfellner. 67. Conceptual Approach for a Digital Value Creation Chain Within the Timber Construction Industry, Potentials and Requirements. N. Schramm, N. Ortwig, and H. Cole. 68. Smart Manufacturing Systems for Small-Medium Enterprises, a Conceptual Data Collection Architecture. M. G. Kanakana Katumba, R. W. Malaji, and M. Oyosola. 69. Key Enablers of Industry 5.0 Transition from 4.0 to the New Digital and Sustainable System. Maha Terstaniak, Miro Hegidik, Natasha Tosanovic, Tihomiro Pedic, Goran Dukic, and Hervoye Connor. 70. Establishment of an appropriate data analytic platform for developing a wisdom manufacturing system using decision techniques. Emmanuel Fernando Zeffirino, Kumbulani Mpofu, Olasumbo Makinde, and Butimelo Ramasisi. 71. Implementation Framework for Blockchain-Based Traceability to Tackle Drug Counterfeiting, Embracing Sustainable Pharma Logistics Networks. Benjamin Nitsch, Frank Straub, Tom Lee Camper, and Simon Zarnitz. 72. A hybrid structural interaction matrix approach to prioritize process wastes generated in a manufacturing organization. Olasumbo Makinde, Thomas Munyai, and Edgar Nisambuni. 73. Modeling and simulation of pump impeller produced using fused deposition modeling. Rumbidzai Muvunzi, Alasanmi Danian, Festus Fameso, and Kumbulani Mpofu. Part 10. Life Cycle and Decision Making. 74. Framework for Sustainability in Aerospace. A Proof of Concept on Decision Making and Scenario Comparison. Marco Franchino. 75. Environmental Assessment of Recycled Petroleum and Bio-Based Additively Manufactured Parts via LCA. Christian Bay, Nico Nagingist, Hans Werner Schmidt, Frank Dopper, and Christian Neuber. 76. Screening Life Cycle Assessment of Thermoacoustic Panels from Agricultural Byproducts. Rodrigo Salvador, Gabriela Aparecida Chopieski, Leandro Inagaki Oshiro, Eduardo Bittencourt Sydney, and Antonio Carlos de Francisco. 77. A model calculation of CO2 emissions saving potential for fine blanking of inductively heated sheet metal with comparison of the product variants. Ingo Felix Weiser, Tim Herrig, and Thomas Bergs. 78. Considering LCA in System Architectures of Smart Circular PSS. Thomas Kruschke, Teresa Riedelsheimer, and Kai Lindo. 79. Dynamic LCA and LCC with ECOFACT. Emilia Ingemersdottir, Sahil Singhania, and Georgios Pallas. 80. Sustainability Assessment of Aerospace Manufacturing, an LCA-based framework. Yusuf Haddad, Sandeep Jagtap, Emanuele Pagoni, and Konstantinos Salonitis. 81. Concept for the Evaluation and Categorization of Sustainability Assessment Methods and Tools. Nicholas Kornheim, Sven Winter, Lars Arnemann, Stefan Wolf, Rainer Anderl, and Benjamin Schleich. 82. Techno-Economic Assessment of Biogas to Liquid Fuel Conversion via Fischer-Tropsch Synthesis, a case study of biogas generated from municipal sewage. Munashe Kadio, Lois Gudukia, Mafaro Kanganga, and Nita Sukdio. 83. Model-based method for low-effort part-specific CO2 accounting during the production on machine tools using PLC data. Erkut Sarikaya, Astrid Weyand, Dominic Duck, and Matthias Weigold. Part 11. Product Design and Innovation. 84. Approach to reduce the environmental impact of a CNC manufactured product in the CAD phase. Sven Winter, Nicholas Kornheim, Lars Arnemann, Rainer Anderl, and Benjamin Schleich. 85. The Last Tool, the Longevity and Sustainable Transition Tool. Peter Byrile Jensen, Louise M. Zierler Haas, Tim Cooper, Joseph Stewart, Philippa Marsh, and Linda Nhu Lorson. 86. A fuzzy sustainable quality function deployment approach to design for disassembly with Industry 4.0 technologies enablers. Samira Kivanpur. 87. Identification of product specifications based on Kano model and application to eco-design. Nozomu Mishimar. 88. Concept and implementation of a student design project for the development of sustainable products. Johanna Wurst, Daniel Roseman, Irina Mozgova, and Roland Lockmeyer. 89. Classifying multi-generational products for the circular economy. Boudica M. Hapuwat, Fazlina Badruddin, and I.S. Jawahar. 90. Design for Sustainability in Manufacturing, Taxonomy and State of the Art. Vivian Langer, Annika Tamp, and Uwe Goetze. Part 12. Learning and Knowledge. 91. Serious Games in Academic Education, a multidimensional sustainability analysis of additive versus conventional manufacturing technologies in a fictitious enterprise project. Christiane Roch, Oliver Maurer, Sven Erik Lang, and Dirk Barr. 92. Conversion of a manufacturing lab as a learning factory to educate factories of the future concept. Smrithya Somaskantha Iyer, Nuwan Dasanayaka, Asela K. Kulatunga, and Mahanama Dharmawardana. 93. Evaluation of competencies for a sustainable industrial environment. G. Campana, M. Mealy, L. De Bertoli, B. Samadi, and H. Kobayashi. 94. Federated Learning for Privacy-Preserving Collaboration in Smart Manufacturing. Jianjing Zhang, Clayton Cooper, and Robert X. Gao. 95. Immersive Virtual Work Integrated Learning, a development of an interactive learning environment for rail components manufacturing. Nokulunga Zamalubi Dlamini, Kumbalani Mpofu, Butimelo Ramasisi, and Olasambo Makinde. 96. A proposed system for greening higher education institutions in Palestine. Ahmed Abu Hania and Afif Akil Hassan. 97. Exploring the potential of open-source machine tools for sustainable industrial development in low-resource contexts. A case study of migrant-run microenterprises in Oman. Muhammad Omer, Melina Kaiser, Tobias Redlich, and Jens P. Wolfsberg. Part 13. Assessment, Strategy and Business Models. 98. Holistic Approach to the Ecological Evaluation of Digitalization Systems in the Production Environment. Florian Tomaszko and Sandra Kroms. 99. Development of a sustainability strategy for fuel cells using life cycle analysis and expert interviews. Patrick Ruckert, Agul Kabapova, and Kirsten Tracht. 100. A new business model for the circular economy of electric vehicles. Parnia Shafinajad, Konstantinos Georgopoulos, Michael Bolek, and Giacomo Capani. 101. Design model for the sustainability management of manufacturing companies. Felix Sonius, Martin Iglauer, and Robert H. Schmidt. 102. Integration of digitization and sustainability objectives in a maturity model-based strategy development process. Mark Munich, Maximilian Stang, Marian Sufi, and Stefan Illenfilt. 103. Implications of strategic orientation on sustainable performance and organizational innovation. A case of manufacturing SMS in sub-Saharan Africa. Peter Onu, Anouk Pradhan, and Charles Mbowa. 104. Identification of action areas for the promotion of local manufacturing in reference to system theory. Pascal Krenz, Lisa Stoltenberg, Dominic Saubke, and Julia Markert. 105. Role of recycling towards a sustainable business model, a perspective on industrial assets. Daniel Warner and Thomas Freidley. 106. Consumer perceptions of the circular business model, a case of leasing strollers. Farazi M. A. Asif, Nilufar Salihi, and Michael Leader. 107. Guideline for identifying required data granularity for deriving improvements to the environmental impact of production. Michelle Kaufman, Henry Ekwaro Osire, and Klaus Dieter Thoben. 108. Sustainability impacts of global used clothing trade and its supply chain. Kanchana Dasanayaki and Rudrajit Pal. Part 14. Metrics. 109. Taxonomy for Biological Transformation Principles in the Manufacturing Industry. Magda Birkin, Gerald Kramer, Teresa Riedelsheimer, Kai Lindo, and Rainer Stark. 110. An empirical investigation into path dependency and embeddedness among sustainable manufacturing capabilities envisaged in the natural resource-based view of the firm. Bhavya Pand, Gajendra Kumar Adil, Diksha Vashisht, and Sanchayan Mitra. 111. Empirical investigation of climate neutrality strategies of companies in industrial production. Stefan Seifert, Lucas Nagel, and Matthias Weigold. 112. Developing a manufacturing process-level framework for green strategies KPIs handling. Vasiliki C. Panagiatopoulou, Alexios Papakaralampopoulos, and Panagiotis Stavropoulos. 113. Combining research, project, and case-based learning in higher manufacturing engineering education. Tim Van ERP. Part 15. Sustainability at regional level. 114. Converted and shared light electric vehicles in Ghana. A technical and economic analysis based on converted ICE motorbikes and e-mopeds. Frederick Adje, Denise Sperling, Isaac Aisha Abudbilla, Arnold Anochi, Jorge Apia, Godwin Ayator, and Sema Severenges. 115. New insights into the polymer coating of mild steel using activated orange juice functionalized rice husk nanoparticles. V.S. Agbadian in P.A. Azor. 116. Supply chain reconfiguration as an option to mitigate post-harvest losses in GHGs. Simulating a case study from banana supply chain in Sri Lanka. MKDCK Chandrasiri, USS Dharmapriya, AK Kulatunga, RMRNK Ratnayaki, WMCB Wasala, and WAP Wirakodi. 117. Design of a sustainable rescue and first aid drone-based system for passenger car occupants. Marvelous Moyo, Tawanda Mushiri, and Habib Noorbai. Part 16. Student projects. 118. Leveraging insights from unique artifacts for creating sustainable products. H. Sanaun, J. Okorafor, T. Asensio, G. Guedes, F. Badruddin, P. Wong, I. S. Jawahar, G. Campana, M. Mealy, and B. Samadi. 119. Literature review of biological transformation in holistic production systems. Annika Lang and Moritz Pochi. 120. Evaluating the sustainability of paper and plastic substitute material Limex. E. Lexis Thornton, Avery Hartley, Daniel Cottle, Martin Gamezu, Julius Scope, and Fazlina Badruddin. 121. Requirements for the development of a performance management system with consideration of unforeseeable business process variants. Yu Min Teng, Sila I, Risha Bayer, and Julia Ann Scholes. Author Index.